What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp, Fightful.com, here with the name you know. And man, have you got to know him a little bit more over the last couple of weeks? The new Impact World Champion, Eric Young. How you doing?
I'm doing well. It's what's the old saying is it's good to be king.
Yeah, and quite I want to say an ascent, but a re-ascent, if that is a word, to the top of Impact. I mean, you've been there under the TNA banner atop the mountain. How did this win compare for you? Because there are a whole lot of variables that are different compared to last time.
Yeah, tons of variables. I mean, it's a completely different company, top to bottom. But for me, this is it's very vindicating, I think is the word. I mean, that's what it feels like to me. And it feels right. It's everything happens for a reason. I've got the word fate tattooed on the underside of my right arm. It's because it's something that I believe in deeply. And I was always meant to be in this position. That's what I believe.
Well, you're in this position after a match with Eddie Edwards, and I mean, a month and a half ago, I don't know how many people would have seen this coming. Did you see it coming a month and a half ago?
Me, yeah, that's me included. You know, it's a crazy time to be alive. I mean, it's just for everybody. Is we're living a very weird time in history and in the world. In the United States, in North America, like it's a very, very weird time. And I think if you would have told me, a month or two ago, I would have said, yeah, probably not. But I can say it's Scott D'Amore was one of the first people to call me when I was released, kind of apologizing weirdly and saying he can't believe that I'm in this position, but he's excited because he wants me to come to Impact, and the talks kind of blossomed from there. And I was in a very interesting position where I've been very smart in my career. I've done very well for myself. I don't need to be working right now. I mean, I could have taken time off. I could have, waited things out and stuff. I choose to be at Impact. I think it's the right choice for me. It was definitely the right choice at the time. And every week I feel that choice is being vindicated. Slammiversary, the Impact had positioned themselves with a ton of buzz, and buzz is great, creating a buzz, and that's a skill set on its own. But once the buzz is set, you've got to be able to deliver too. And I feel the Impact roster did that top to bottom. And every week it does feel like there's this groundswell, like it's building and building and building. And man, as far as a performer goes and being in a position like that, it's just going to be more and more opportunities, more and more business, more and more chances to prove that we are a legitimate alternative. And it's that as a performer, nothing excites me more than that.
And that was a period of wrestling that around Slammiversary in the weeks prior. I mean, AEW had like Fyter Fest and Fight for the Fallen, and NXT did Great American Bash, and WWE has like one or two pay-per-views a month. But Slammiversary got the most buzz of anything. Did some of their best social numbers, and that's after multiple rebrandings and 18 years of some network switches and things like that. What do you think that says about the company with a lot of the people they brought in, yourself included?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's vindicating for them too. I feel like this is something that a lot of them had known for a long time, that this is a very special locker room. This is a very special company, and it starts at the top with Anthem Sports and Ed Norholm and Frank Pankey, Scott D'Amore, the writing team, the production team. Like, it all starts with those people. I mean, if they're not putting us in a position to succeed, it doesn't matter how good of wrestlers we are or how good of matches we have. None of that matters if people aren't watching. So all the people, above us and people that are in charge and people that do promotion for the company and stuff like that, none of what we do, it matters without that being done properly. And, and I've said this in other interviews, is like, there's a long list of people that should be thanked, and I'm not including me or the Good Brothers or Heath or EC3. Like, look, like we came into the company when it was kind of healthy. This company almost didn't exist. Guys like Eddie Edwards, Tessa Blanchard, Sammy Callahan, the Lucha Bros. Like, I mean, the list, these are people that work in other companies, but I owe them, and wrestling fans owe them, and Impact owes them a great deal of gratitude because they kept this place going and they put it into a position where they could bring people in and they could create this buzz and back themselves into a corner of saying Slammiversary is going to be something special and you damn well better watch. And people did. And they were happy that they tuned in and watched. Like that's, dude, like I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. Like that's the ultimate. The ultimate.
You've said in previous interviews that Vince McMahon failed you. Well, I mean, I have fond memories of Team Canada in TNA, yourself, Scott D'Amore, A1, Bobby Roode, all these people. Did your long history with Scott D'Amore give you more confidence after what you had been through creatively to come back to Impact Wrestling?
I think it played into it for sure. And I mean, you know, like I've said what I've said about Vince. I don't think, you know, the decision of me being in that position is anything personal. He was always polite to me when we spoke. You know, he, you know, he's got way more wins than he's got losses. In the end, he didn't fail me. He failed himself. That's what I have to say about that. He failed himself. He failed the roster. He failed his shareholders. More importantly, he failed the fans. And I think every week on Impact or anywhere that I work, I'm proving that. Like, I was never in that position. It had nothing to do with my ability. It had nothing to do with my history. It had nothing to do with my skill set or anything that I had done or said. It was just one person's opinion. I'm not the first person that he missed on, and I won't be the last. He doesn't care. I mean, he's just going to go on making billions of dollars like he you know, he's winning. You know, he's definitely winning. And I don't think it's anything personal. I'm not mad at him or you know, I mean, I would never, you know, hold it personally against him, but it was a mistake, a big one, maybe one of the worst ones he's ever made. That's just my opinion, but my opinion won't change. He made a huge mistake. His mistake is the wrestling world and Impact Wrestling's advantage. And, you know, if that didn't happen, then I'm not sitting here talking to you. I'm not the world champion. I'm not part of, you know, a wrestling company that's growing during a global pandemic. I mean, like it's a very exciting time to be Eric Young and to be part of Impact Wrestling.
And you've been a part of multiple regimes from, again, main roster WWE stuff to NXT where Triple H and Road Dogg kind of have the run of things, TNA, various regimes there. Which ones do you think handled you best? And were there any others that you look back at and you're like, maybe they just didn't quite get me?
Yeah, it's, I mean, I've gone through, you know, I mean, at TNA itself, you know, 10, 15, 20 different changes of the guard. You know, it's, I was there for 12 years, so I've seen it all. I started there when we were working just on the Wednesday weekly pay-per-views. I was there when they went to Fox Sports. I was there when they went to Spike. I was there when they lost the deal to Spike. I was there when they went to Destination America. I was there, you know, when they went to Pop. So, and now I'm back and they're on Access. And I feel Access is such a good fit for them right now. It's in a ton of homes, you know, and some signing the deal with Pluto, which is a huge international platform. The brand is growing, you know, it's growing like crazy. The WWE, like my run in NXT, I loved it. I still talk with Hunter till today. I was talking to him on Monday, and you know, me and him are very friendly. The opportunity he gave me in NXT, I will never forget. It was two of the fondest years of my life in wrestling. I loved it. You know, working for the WWE, winning the World Tag Belts, being part of War Games Match of the Year. Sanity was one of the number one acts in NXT. Everyone is, you know, if you're listening to this, you're well aware of what happened on the main roster. If I could erase that, I would, but I'm a very experiential person. I believe everything happens for a reason, and I want to experience everything, good, bad, and indifferent. And, you know, the main roster run was definitely not a success, but it happens. You know, it's just part of wrestling. It's part of the business. I'm moving forward, and it's cool to be with Impact in a time of growth like this. And I want to be a big part of and be responsible for its growth being a household name. That's the plan.
And you've moved forward, as I mentioned, to become the new Impact World Champion. I'm going to kind of set you up to toot your own horn here. Are you the most decorated wrestler in TNA Impact history? Because judging by your credentials, it certainly looks like it.
Yeah, I know that there's a couple Grand Slam champs. I think AJ is definitely one. I'm one.
You've done
Rude
it.
is up
You've done it
there.
with the
James
Legends
Storm is up
title
there.
alone. You've held every version of that one belt when it was the Legends title,
Yep.
Global, Television, King of the Mountain, and you held it under every single incarnation. That's unreal.
Yep. Yeah. I've definitely very decorated. I mean, 12 years is a long time, man. It's a long, long time. So, but it's something I'm super proud of. And what's cool to me is I've been on every spot of the card. I mean, I've been opening match, I've been main event. Something I did that AJ didn't do, and I hope he reads this or hears this. I won the women's world titles with ODB.
Yes.
I was wrestling women before wrestling women was cool. So it's for me. I mean, my number one most prideful thing is the amount of different things that I've done. I don't think I would argue with anybody where they say he's not the best technical wrestler, or he's not the best high flyer, or he's not the best on the mic, or he's not the best. But I'm very, very good at all of those things, and I've proven that I am one of, if not the most versatile wrestler ever in the history of wrestling. And I mean, as a person that's an experiential person, like I've got to experience the card from every single angle. Like I feel like my understanding of wrestling is so deep because I've done all of it. Every bit that can be done, I've done it.
You know what else AJ Styles hasn't done? He's never been a world beer drinking champion either.
There you go. There's two things that he's never done.
And
I could definitely beat him at a beer drinking contest.
Do you have like a replica of that, like in a trophy room or anything?
I mean, that's the only belt that I care about, to be honest.
Yes.
If we're talking logistics, the only one that really counts in the real world is the beer drinking championship.
It was funny. You mentioned your versatility. So when rumors swirl that you're coming back, nobody knew how exactly you would come back. They didn't know if they would see you like this.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the ideas I floated out there, I was like, man, Impact has this great knockouts division. It would be in character if Eric Young and ODB just showed up with the knockouts belts as if they had defended in this entire time and just wandered onto the program. Like, that's something that you could have pulled off that not a lot of people could have pulled off. Do you look at your versatility as a gift and a curse, or is it just a gift for you?
I mean, if you look at it some ways, you could look at it as a curse, because, sometimes guys like, oh, my gimmick is that I'm a wrestler and I'm tougher than everybody and I'm the world champion. Like, well, that's a great gimmick, but not everybody can have that gimmick. Only one person at a time can really do that. So for me, being versatile, it's allowed me. I mean, I've been on TV almost every week for almost 17 years. Who can say that? I mean, like that's a short list, man. That's a very short list. There are guys that have done it, but I haven't missed a show from injury. I've been on TV almost every single week for 17 years. To me, that's my number one accomplishment. My only goal when I started in wrestling was to sign a contract so I could tell my mom that I do this for a living. That was it. So in 2004, when I signed my first one with TNA, that goal was eradicated, and I accomplished everything that I ever set out to do. Once that happened, then of course it snowballs into, okay, now I want to, win a major title, so I can be erased from the history books of professional wrestling. Well, I've done that a bunch of times. So then it's like, oh, well, I want to main event a pay-per-view, or it morphs into the next thing. So the thing with ODB, working with her was awesome. She's amazing, super fun to be around, very talented performer. And we never lost the belts. They took them away from us. So, technically, we're still champs.
I would like to think so. And as you said, we've seen you do everything within this company, from shopping for condoms with Jeremy Borash to winning the world championship multiple times. You're told, hey, you're in this spot, main event, world championship match. How does that make you feel inside after what you have experienced throughout your career?
Just absolute bliss. I mean, I've said it before, is if you are in wrestling and you don't want to be the world champion or the guy that the company that you're in leans on, then you're a liar, or you're in wrestling for the wrong reason. You know, like that to me, that being the flag bearer and, you know, the person, you know, a huge amount of responsibility falls on your shoulders. I take it very serious, man. I mean, very serious. I did before, and I definitely do now. And we're in a position right now at Impact, you know, all the people, all the guys on the roster, all the people on the staff, where we're making forward steps, you know, and we don't want to do the wrong thing. We don't want to make a misstep. We don't want to go backwards. We want to go forward. And being part of something like that is the lifeblood. It's, I mean, for me, I love being the underdog. I love being the person that's counted out, or the person that you know, maybe isn't the first choice. But I think when people came to Slammiversary, like you said, the budget was huge. The numbers were you know, the biggest that Impact had in 5-10 years. It's proof that what we're doing is working. You know, like, it's not saying we're not going to have a couple backward steps here and there, because that's just the nature of wrestling and the nature of television. But I can assure you that everybody here is striving to make this the best pro wrestling show on TV week in and week out. And pro wrestling is art. It's subjective, and what some people like, other people may not. But I feel there's a flavor for you on this show at some point during the 2 hours. There's something that you're going to enjoy. And we're making Impact on Access for pro wrestling fans. You know, that's our number one goal. We're not trying to make it so, you know, housewives watch it, or people that don't like wrestling tune in week to week because there's some silly game show. We're doing it with the pro wrestling fan in mind, because that's who's watching Impact. That's who we want to support this product.
As we wrap up, reminder, guys, check out Impact Wrestling on Access every Tuesday, 8 p.m. You got brought back into the company. Are you committed there long term? Are you under a contract? How's that working right now?
Yeah, I'm committed there for. I signed a 2-year exclusive deal, so exclusively wrestling with them. It will be all Impact all the time for me. I mean, I have tons of other interests, like, you know, TV outside of that. I'm crazy into fantasy sports, and just actually this morning signed a deal with Sports Grid. I'll be doing a Sunday morning fantasy prep show for them that airs digitally online all over the world. So yeah, it's I'm always, you know, like I said, I'm a very experiential person. I want to kind of do everything. I'm running out of time in the day.
Yeah.
One guy can only do so much, but yeah, I mean, for me, Impact is my home. You know, it was my home away from home when I was gone. Now I'm back. It's just a very cool place to work, a very cool place to be involved. And I said, like, for me, I just wanted to be involved. I just wanted to be doing something. The fact that I'm the world champion, I'm the flag bearer, I'm the flagship of this show, it is a huge honor for me. Something I feel that I've earned and I deserve, but I will not rest on it. You know what I mean? I've never been a person that's rested on it. I want to improve myself. I want to improve Impact, and in turn, improving my life. You know, it's everything is circular that way. And the task at hand is huge. I mean, like, we've got a long ways to go, but the opportunity is there. It's limitless potential in this locker room, and I can't wait to get going and do some other amazing things.
New Impact World Champion Eric Young, thank you so much for taking the time.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for the time.
Until next time, guys, we're out.